Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello. Welcome to NPD, New Pedal Day. We do this every now and again. Some pedals that are new to us on the board, but first some housekeeping.
Indeed. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. A massive thank you to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed some merchandise.
Indeed, as we are in the season to be jolly, we have the new That Pedal Show seasonal t-shirt.
Indeed.
With the as yet unnamed stag stroke deer.
My suggestion so far has been Randolph the Red Dot Reindeer.
Randolph the Red Dot Reindeer.
Gaindeer.
Gaindeer. Randolph the Red Dot Gaindeer. That could work.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think I had a suggestion, but I've forgotten it already.
Okay.
Suggestions below.
And this.
And that, the new cassette. It's called Mixtape. Get it?
That's really good. That's really... I like it.
Yeah. Because, you know, we do like analogue things. Anyway, okay, today's pedals, Daniel, are...
We have the Designer Drive by Great Eastern Effects.
We have the Para EQ Mark II.
No. Yes, it is Mark II, I believe.
There you go.
Yes, it is, sorry.
The Para EQ Mark II looks like Deluxe as well, from Empress.
It is the Deluxe version.
There we are.
Yeah. No normal version for us, mate.
No.
It's Deluxe all the way.
Only Deluxe.
We have the Stereo Chorus Plus pitch modulation and flanger from TC Electronic.
And we have the Difference Engine from Black Country Customs, which happens to be very closely associated with Laney.
Yeah. We'll just power it up. It says Laney on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, very closely associated. It is Laney.
There you go.
All right, so let's get right in then. You heard them all in the beginning. We could have just stopped the video there because I thought that was some pretty spectacular noises.
Yeah, really lovely.
I fear we're going to be... I don't fear. I am happy to say I think we're going to be deep in Danland today. First up then, Designer Drive. This has been out a while, but we haven't put it on the board yet. From our old friend David Greaves.
Our old friend David Greaves, indeed.
Who is part of Great Eastern Effects Company, or may even be Great Eastern Effects Company. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, I think 'tis him.
'Tis him. And what was the one we had before called?
A small speaker overdrive, the SSO.
The SSO, which we liked very much.
Very much.
This, I guess, does what it says on a tin. You've got a stepped... Listen to the click. Width control.
Yep.
Which goes from thin to fat.
So what do we think that is?
Some sort of capacitor network.
Yeah, indeed.
Bit like you get on an old Gibson, perhaps.
Yeah, or even the input of the matchless. Different input capacitors controls the input frequency range.
Yeah, so we'll have a listen to that. Gain, level and edge being some sort of tone control. Let's have a listen then.
Indeed.
Dan, seeing as you were swanging away there. Here's my clean tone. Andy, we are sending you continued good wishes for your recovery.
Indeed.
Andy Martin.
He's doing much better. He sent out a post and he went like this.
I'm better.
He's on the mend.
Great.
He's on the mend.
Nice one. A couple of cheap amps today. 2-Rock Classic Reverb Signature Matchless C30. They're there because they were there. So...
I tell you what's nice about that. I think he's got the frequencies right. They're all usable.
Yeah, I hadn't got that far yet.
Okay.
As you could hear, that scooped out quite a lot of bottom end and made the mids quite prominent in that sort of quacky way, which I think is what...
Yeah.
No clean boost, really.
No,
Unless
it's
I've
gaining
got,
straight
unless I've
away.
got something very wrong here. The gain's on 0, the level's up. This is not your clean boost pedal. Okay. In which case, I'm just gonna. I can't do controls completely off. I can't do that.
Okay.
That doesn't seem right. So we'll go to a little bit again. Give us that, Dan, and I'll run through the thin to fat knobber there. My prediction is, obviously, you could clearly hear the difference in that. I think where it becomes more useful is as you turn the gain up.
Sure.
So if you, what I'm going to do is Dan will carry on playing something similar. I'll turn the gain up so we get to quite a gainy sound, and then carve some of that thickness out.
Nice.
Is there a little booklet with it?
No, there wasn't.
Okay, so I don't know what the marketing says. Did you read any marketing about it?
No.
Is it called a designer drive because you're supposed to be able to make it sound like any overdrive?
I think you can shape it.
Okay.
You know, with the mixture of the tone control and the bottom end control.
Yeah.
You can shape it.
That's what I was trying to get to. So by dialing some of that bottom end out and adding in a bit more, or indeed even taking some of the edge out, you get a more mid-focus tone.
Yes.
And presumably by dialing this on and that around, you get quite a
bit scoopier.
Bit scoopier, maybe. Let's have a look. It is quite TS-like around that way.
Yeah, right.
Because it's rolling off bottom and top. Okay, I won't play this guitar, sorry. Actually, I will play this guitar. We need to hear it with some humbuckers as well, really. But seeing as I've got this guitar, we should play it with this guitar.
Indeed. Schwungage.
I'll tell you what I'm hearing immediately there is the honky
P90s.
P90. Sorry, I am just going to ease that reverb down a little bit. I can hear the honk in the P90s. So as you turn the width control up, does it get less honky, I guess is the question.
Not really.
So if we come down there, I'll go to the mid position and do the classic neck pickup rolled off a bit. Give us a bit less gain down, can you?
Isn't that great?
So a really brilliant shaper for guitars that have a bit of flub on them. What's this? Oh, Paul Matulovich must have left that.
Yes.
A honey pick. I'll try that in a sec. Thank you, Paul, if you watch this. That's a bit scary, isn't it? I haven't played this guitar since they were last here. 2 weeks.
Still in tune though.
Yeah. Imagine that. So we'll go do some humbuckers before we move on. The reason I'm doing that is I'm sort of fascinated by those two tone controls.
Right.
Trying to get into woman tone territory without
having to go there.
It was all the way up. The tone control was all the way up on the guitar. So one last thing just to check then is what the cleanup is like, which is always a key thing for me in a pedal. Down.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. A reminder that when you start packing that gain on, so important to carve out some bottom end to retain.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not just bottom end, is it? It's, I don't know, presumably it says on the website, apologies, David, for not having read it, but it sounds like it's varying degrees of bottom end.
Yeah.
So it's not just all sub 80, it's then elsewhere depending on where you've got the thing.
Right.
Because some of those other sort of vocal frequencies become very clear.
Sure. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, really nice. Well, speaking of vocal frequencies becoming very clear, moving right along, this is the Empress Para EQ Mark II. So this was released quite recently. And
Deluxe, don't you know?
this is the deluxe version, of course. And it is a really gorgeous parametric EQ. So basically, if you think of the parametric EQ, you've got three sections. You've got your bass section, you've got your mid section, and you've got your treble section. This row here gives you the frequency, bass frequency, middle frequency, treble frequency. And this gives you the gain or the attenuation. So you can boost or cut.
So in the centre, it's neither boost nor cut.
Exactly.
And then you've got, what, 15 dB either way?
Exactly.
Or at least it says plus and minus 15. Maybe that does mean
Just pretend
dB.
it's dB.
Yeah.
But the really cool thing about this is that you've got this Q control on the Deluxe. On the standard one, it's a toggle switch. I think there's a couple of different positions of
Q controls what, Daniel?
So Q control is the width of the frequency. So if the middle of the frequency, let's say, is 1K, the Q control will tell you how far either side of 1K that we're going to go.
If you call it up on your favourite graphic equalizer plugin or equalizer plugin, if you grab the spot where you want to make the adjustment, it'll go up and down, and then if you control click and move, it will make it wider and narrower, is usually how it works on most EQs. So I've decided to go on a complete guitar bonanza today,
nice,
Dan.
Fantastic. So it might be that you want a gentle lift of all the, upper, mid to top end frequencies, and we have a big a cue for that. However, it might be that what you want to do is cut a very specific frequency.
Yeah.
So we have a very small cue, and we find that frequency, and you cut it out.
I mean, it's you'll know this if you've played with any EQ at all, even something like a Boss G7. The purpose of EQs is vast, but let's start off with basic shaping. So you want to change the core tone of your amp or your guitar. Then there's problem solving, which is what Dan just talked about. So you might, if you've got feedback with an acoustic guitar, for example, it's an effective way to do it. Then there's shaping overdrives and shaping everything else. So EQ pedals can look really boring on the face of it, but actually
it's super, super handy.
It is vast. I think, how do you feel about a small EQ lesson to kick off?
Yeah, great.
All right. I say a lesson. This is what I've learned about EQ in guitar tones.
Okay.
Dan, you play. So what I'm going to do is we will cut the bass frequencies first.
Okay.
And it's a huge range on this one here. It's like 35 to 500 hertz. Now, many people would regard 500 as very solidly into mid-range territory. So that shows you how powerful it is.
Right.
Let's give us. So right down there at 35 hertz, cutting is almost imperceptible.
Right.
But boosting, we're probably not just getting 35, we're probably getting up to...
I guess it depends on what the key is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But my point is, once you get up to 50 and 80, that's when we're talking about resonance of cabinets.
Yeah, right. Oh, yes, of course.
So that was 35. Let's jump all the way to the midpoint, which I'm assuming is going to be somewhere around 250. Now, 250 goes past the resonance of a cabinet. It goes past what you would think of as noticeable bass in a bass guitar, and it gets into, we're in the bottom end of boxiness.
Right.
So have a listen to this. All the way up into 500, which is where this bass control leaves off, we're into tube screamer territory.
At 500?
Yeah, it's 5 to 700 in a TS.
Right.
So what we could do, now there's also crossover, right? Because the mid frequency goes down to 250.
Yes.
So what this will enable us to do is cut some bottom end, add some mids at about 600 or 700. And what we should hear now is some of that bottom roll off, nasally mid-range of a tube screamer.
Cool.
Kind of, sorta, and what I did was I increased the Q on the mid control so that it made the boost in the frequency more pronounced.
Right.
So it wasn't as wide. And then finally, I'll just put all that back to the beginning again. High end. A couple key frequencies for me in the highs. Gonna let you hear what a 3 to to 4K boost sounds like on a gain sound.
Okay.
So let's get some gain up. Just made a vital discovery. These 4 knobs here are on all the time.
Yes.
Global, low, high pass, global,
Low pass.
low pass, and then the gain for them in the middle there. So the reason that wasn't making any difference is because the low pass was set at 3K.
Right.
So keep going. I always hear that as kind of sizzle
Yeah.
on an overdrive sound, and then up from there. Last thing, I promise I'll shut up now. 10 to 12K. People say you can't hear 10 to 12K in a guitar sound. Go.
So everything else there is unity. We're just boosting.
Yeah, I always think of those frequencies as air.
Right.
So we went through thump, box, vocal mid, sizzle, and air. All of which, you could substitute whatever word you wanted, but I think they're quite clearly audible.
Yeah, and important for guitar.
Super important. Yeah.
Right.
Those are the ones when we're doing guitar sounds for TPS. Those are the ones that we'll run to first.
Right.
So anyway, that's my very basic primer on EQ, Dan. I'm sure there's something more interesting to add.
Well, the other interesting thing with this is that once you've got your sound, you then have a separate boost circuit.
Oh, nice.
That you can take that sound and give it some more love. So here we go. We'll get that boxy, airy, thumpy sound going, and then we'll give it some boost.
There ended the lesson. The last lesson was how pretty awful you can make a guitar sound if
you over what's it called? Over egg the pudding?
the EQing.
The EQing.
Yeah, over egging the EQing.
The para EQing.
That almost works. yeah, what I was trying to do there was boost about 80, boost around 10 to 12, cut in the mid-range, and that gives you your classic smiley face, scoopy.
Right.
Really cool. The boost thing especially, I mean, does that just take everything and boost everything? It's not like separate in any way.
No, so it just takes everything, make louder device. But what I love about that is if you use that at, post gain stage, right? Or even at the end of everything, and you're using your EQ to EQ for the room, or to, just make nicer.
Yeah.
And then you can make nicer and louder.
More nicer.
It's great.
Does the boost work without the EQ on, do we know?
I don't know.
Negative, Captain.
That would be a no.
Yeah, really cool, really super powerful.
Super powerful.
All analog, right?
Of course.
Of course. I suppose for me, the missing factor is presets,
Sure.
because that's what would make it
Yeah.
totally killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess you're going to have a good question to choose this over something that does have
The ability to store presets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the big pluses for me are what I love about Empress in general. They go to great lengths to make their stuff quiet. And the amount of headroom this has got as well.
yeah.
So, like compared to like a G7 or something, you can really hit this hard without any fear. Like it takes a lot of current, like 300 milliamps. So imagine with 10 times more than
Standard overdrive.
like a standard overdrive.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a load of headroom. I don't know if they're. I'm assuming they're doubling voltages inside as well. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Wicked. Sounds amazing. And obviously extremely versatile. It's hot in here. Are you hot? Oh, you're never hot. I'm sweating like a sweating person.
All right, Nelly. Is that Nelly did that song? So take off all your Christmas
clothes.
paraphernalia?
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Oh, heavens, I'm taking a drink from my lovely...
That's a
TPS
very nice
You like that?
laser etched enamelled cup there, Daniel. Made in the UK, I believe, as well.
It's beautiful.
Certainly laser etched in the UK by a very superb independent small business. You can buy such an item from that pedalshowstore.com. Should you wish to, of course. Right, TC Electronic SCF, stereo chorus flanger. Super famous.
Super famous and super exciting for a number of reasons. So the original of this is an absolute classic.
I'm looking on the wall because a while back they did one in the sort of more modern TC
The Hoff type
pedal
enclosure.
It's not there. This is not that, right?
This is not that. This is all analog. The circuit is exactly the same. The major difference is that you can power it with a standard 9-volt supply.
Because the old ones were mains.
The old ones were mains powered.
True story. The last time I saw one of these, it was behind Joe Bonamassa's row of tweeds, and it was splitting signal, and I think adding just the most tiniest amount of modulation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So when we talk about stereo choruses and things, a lot of the time, what we're talking about is separating out the modulation from the dry signal. And like on your CE1, for example, you'll get the vibrato basically on one side and your direct sound on the other. So in mono mode, those two signals come together and they mix. That gives you your chorus. If you go left and right out, one side is your direct sound and the other is just a vibrato. This is different.
Okay.
This has your direct sound on both sides and a modulated sound on both sides. And what's happening is there's a phasing that shifts from left to right.
Oh, wicked.
Which gives you this, as in stereo mode, it just gives you this amazing depth and lusciousness, and that's what it's famous for.
And we do have it in stereo mode today, so for the rest of the video, I think we'll be in stereo, maybe.
Yes. So, the SCF has chorus, flanger, and pitch modulation. So 3 distinct modes. and the intensity control on the right-hand side adjusts different things depending on what mode you're in. So let's just go through from chorus to pitch modulation to flanger. If you want to, have shrinkage.
When I started playing, it sounded really dark, this guitar. Turn that on, it gets really bright.
It gets a lot brighter, and what's interesting is it's the effect of having that phasing between the two sides.
Okay.
It pulls like almost like we did in the EQ. It pulls a lot of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't pull the mids out, but it's a phasing thing, like you would as a phaser sweeps through the phase range. But you're getting the difference between the left and right hand side.
But there is also an analog preamp in it, isn't there?
There is.
So I think that's doing some sort of, whether it's just a straight buffering capacitance thing.
Well, you can hear, so the analog preamp is on all the time. So if I take the effect out, you'll hear the effect of the buffer.
It's a mighty noise.
It is incredible.
I just want to... This guitar is annoying me because it's so dark sounding.
Right.
I want to get a guitar that is not so dark sounding.
Nice.
What the hell?
Ghost's been tuning your guitar.
My Strat is in Dadgad.
So who plays in Dadgad that we know?
Must have been somebody on an experience day. Stop that.
It's great.
I wrote that.
Derek Smalls.
No, I did write that.
It's beautiful.
What do you call that? Sorry. We were joking just before we came on the air. If you put loads of chorus on, make it quite fast.
Right.
We're still in chorus mode.
Still in chorus mode.
And do a finger exercise. It does sound like like bad jazz.
The sound of ages.
I'm going to stop. I think Dan should take over. Too much coffee. So that was... All right, chorus mode then.
Yep.
Is the difference between chorus mode and flanger mode the delay time?
It is one of the... It's the main difference. One of the differences as well is that in flanger mode, the intensity becomes the feedback.
Okay.
It gives you that regeneration.
If you weren't following, the difference between chorus and flanger is short delay time.
Flanger has a short
plus
delay
it has
time.
the regeneration.
Exactly that.
Happy days. Right, let's see if we can investigate that. You like that?
Yeah.
There is something I'm dying to do, which is turn on the delay. But just before we do that, so what is PM mode then? So
That
chorus
is-
and flanger, I understand.
So it's pitch modulation mode.
Right.
And it's where the intensity control blends vibrato in with the chorus. That's what the manual says. I'm
Go on
going...
then.
Yeah.
I hope that becomes obvious in the stereo audio because I'm struggling to hear what's going on there.
Yeah, it's complex.
Yeah.
It's
I'm wondering if it's doing something in the stereo field that I'm not getting because we're not in the stereo field, as it were.
How do you mean?
Well, is it doing something in one side?
No, it's as in the pitch modulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get onto this delay because in 40 minutes we have to be doing VCQ.
Okay. Can I add the delay on top of the
That's what I was going to do.
Okay. Bloody fantastic. Oh, my knob fell off. Far out, man.
Happy Dan. But I was using we were using the power EQ there more or less as just a straight boost. So
Yeah.
it was just adding a bit in the front so that it wouldn't, so that he got a bit more under the fingers, as it were. Okay, you like that?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. So there's a lot to go through with the difference engine, and we're going to do a video. There's a few amazing delays that have come up recently. So I'm going to spend some time to get to know them and, you know, bits and pieces that I like about them. What I really like about this, there are 3 basic types of delays that it's got. It says 1 analog and 2 delays. So the analog is it's their version of the RE, I think the 501, that tape echo with chorus in it.
Yeah, 3 heads.
It's got 3 heads,
and you can turn them off.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they call it analog, but it's actually a tape.
Yep. And the 2 digitals are both they're both TC 2290s.
You also get true stereo in and out, and you've got MIDI control for those of you who want to send program changes, patch changes, CC. It'll do all of the above.
Yeah.
And it does in and through MIDI.
Yes.
Because they don't all do that, do they?
No, some of them
I'm
just
literally talking about something I don't understand, but I do know that people moan when they don't have in and through.
Right. So you've got the knobs you need to get it at the top, your mix, your repeats, tone on the repeats.
Actually, quick shout out for the UI. Hopefully you can see the UI on the screen there and it's not being obscured by light. When you change something...
Isn't that great?
You get a really clear...
know exactly what's going on.
View of what's going on.
Yeah.
And as we know from multifunction digital delays down the years, the trade-off between having enough controls up top and then stuff in menus, because obviously you can't have all the controls on the top, is, for me, that's the winner and the loser in the UI challenge. This reminds me a lot of the Boss DD
200
and 500.
Yeah, right.
Where you've got
Sorry,
the real key stuff, but 200 as well, yeah, where you've got the key stuff on the top panel, like we've just said with those 4 knobs, and then the multi-function pressy-turny one on the right-hand side there as you look down is how you get into the menu and do all the deeper editing. But basic control for mix, repeats, delay time, and tone. Happy days.
Really great. A couple of other things worth mentioning as well. It's low current draw. It's like 100 milliamps.
What?
Yep. So it will work on any standard 9-volt supply, which is great. You don't have to hit it with loads of current. But check this out. I really like this. And this is part of the UI thing we're talking. I know. It's really great. But watch this. When you turn a knob, at the moment the screen is a bit darker, drawing less current. When you want to change something, the screen goes a bit brighter.
Nice.
And when you leave it for a second, it'll go back to being... And that's just all part of that stuff. It's like, okay, we're going to... You've got all the information you need now. I'm just going to ease back a little bit on the amount of current that I'm drawing. Make the screen a bit dimmer.
No way.
Any second now. There you go.
There you go. I know, I was sincerely hoping it was going to happen.
Yeah.
All right, what should we do? Should we listen to a few presets?
Sure. So it is in stereo at the moment. It comes factory with 10 stereo presets. This is a ping pong one that we've got. You can see clearly the 2 different delay times on the left and right hand side, which is lovely. So if I just do a quick slappy do. Yeah, but you play and I'll just scroll through a few presets.
Okay, 50 artist presets up front from various people you can see on the Laney website, the Black Country Customs website, who's put those presets in there. I'm assuming if we try some, it will say who they are, but we'll get there.
Indeed.
every mistake repeated inglorious. Just to mention, there's 2 modes of operation. In addition to the 3 basic delay engines, you've got live mode, where all the controls on the top are in play, and the on-off button and the tap tempo are in play, and that would be here.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan, just play for a sec. You could tap tempo. So in either one or both of the digital modes, I'm not quite sure, it works as tap tempo and freeze.
Right.
But if you're in preset mode, the 2 switches go up and down the presets. Press and hold for fast, up and down. Just press once for single. Okay, let's actually have a listen to a couple of these presets then. Let's go back to the beginning. Just talk amongst yourselves. Wandering delay. So, here you go then. Lari B there, as it said on those first 3 presets, Lari Basilio. I had to just look up the name just to make sure I didn't get it wrong. You see Lari on Instagram a lot.
She's amazing.
Great guitar player. I didn't know how to pronounce her surname, so anyway.
It sounds really good.
She's got a bunch of presets in here. Let's see who else, see if we come up with some other names. The purple tape, that can only be Pete Honore. Can't it?
Come on then.
Is it? Let's see if it is or not. Maybe. Who else we got? Iomi Heaven. Just. This must be a. What's this then? There must be a famous Sabbath or Iomi track where he uses loads of that. Apologies for the ignorance of not knowing what that is. So let's Starsky and Hutchings. That has to be Pete Honore, because no one else would say
unless
Hutchings.
Unless it is
Alex Hutchings. Could be Alex Hutchings. And a timely reminder that when you play the wrong note, the delay will remind you of that for the next 721 milliseconds. Okay, couple stereo ones then before we tap out. As we say, go into this a little bit deeper. Dan wants to do a deeper dive on these, but it just give you a flavour of what's on offer. One final thing I want to check. If we're in that and we come out of that into live mode and use tap tempo, will it change the two tempos?
Oh, okay.
So one of the things when you've got a pattern, I mean, that sounds like a dotted and quarter eighth, is it?
Yeah, we could do the sums. It does sound like that, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, if your band starts the song and the drummer's had 3 pints of Guinness and everything's 8 BPM too fast, which, you know, that happens, then if you double tap the pattern delay, it will keep the ratio correct for the thing. That's really cool.
It's very, very cool. Yeah, it sounds lovely.
I do believe, Daniel, it's your turn to play us out with all the pedals on,
okay.
Even though that's what we heard at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I've got to get it even more weird and whacked out than we had it at the top. Good show from everyone. Good show from everyone today. There's some... Dan's
Good
happy.
hustle, people.
Dan's happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very happy. I mean, I'm seriously thinking about the TC and how to just make it my on all the time thing. It really does sound magic. But yeah, I'm really interested to get the difference engine up against the new one from Meris, the new one from Wampler, and also I want to check out. Obviously, Strymon have released their updated versions of their small delays.
The new things,
yeah. So anyway,
what we didn't show you was the menu section.
But yeah, we'll get into that
menu where you can get in and edit everything.
Yeah.
So
everything is in there.
It is all editable. So apologies if it was a bit of a whistle stop tour today. Please go to that pedalshowstore.com and buy merch.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the links below. Yada yada yada.
All the stuff.
Dan, play the guitar. See you next time.